Welcome back to another episode of Allowed to Ask. We are so excited to have our guest here, Lindsay Metzler, or We Met at Acme. So nice to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This
I'm
is so excited.
truly so excited to have you. I feel like I haven't seen you in 2 years since we met back in my gloss lab
Yes.
days. There's so much to you, and I don't want to speak for you. So tell us kind of who you are, what you do, what your job is. Now you're a mom. Tell us all the good things.
Yeah. So I grew up in New York City. I'm 33. I am a mom of a 6-month-old. But the reason that We Met at Acme is a thing is because 7 years ago, I was very single, actually dumped on my 27th birthday.
On your 27th birthday.
On my 27th
That's
birthday.
Danny's age.
Jail
crazy.
for that man.
Jail for that man. But also, you're at the beginning of your Saturn return. So your life is about
We
to
were
transform.
saying that you are like an astrology girly, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't really know like what that even means or my sign.
You're a Scorpio.
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
I think you told me that when
Whoa.
we met.
You tell me
And I
about
never
myself.
forgot.
Yeah.
I never forget a sign. When's your birthday?
December 30th, Capricorn.
Love a Capricorn. Obsessed
there
with a
you go.
Capricorn.
I definitely want to go into like
And you
define
guys
us
get along
later.
really well, your signs.
Yeah.
But dumped
So
on
far
my
it's
20
working.
dumped on my 27th birthday. And at the time was obsessed with dating. Like just was a good dater or so I thought, right? And all my friends were coming to me for dating advice. So I was like,
We were gonna ask you that. Like, were you the girl that
I was the
everyone
girl.
was
I
coming
was
to for it?
texting for all my friends.
Right.
I do
in
that
relationship
with my friends.
Yeah.
I believe
does
it.
the same
I believe
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Like
I
there's
have a
always
note
one.
stock in my
Mhm.
phone of like breakup texts.
Oh.
Yeah, and like I tailored them for my friends based on like how many dates they've been on. Like, do you actually want to be friends with them, or are you just
Right,
saying
right.
it? Like, how many dates did you go on? Things like that.
That's amazing. And I was just very fascinated by the whole thing. There at the time there were no dating podcasts. I was
Mhm.
like, I got to do this. And I just started talking to friends about dating and recording it. And
So it
that's
started
where
with
we are
having
now.
friends on.
Started with having friends on.
Nice.
And dating stories.
Dating stories, then kind of got into the more like influencers talking about their dating lives, then therapists teaching me things. I was really learning as I went.
Where did the name We Met at Acme come from?
At the time, Acme was all the rage. It was
Yep.
where we were going out like every
She
night.
asked me today. She's like, "Is Acme still a thing?"
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Yes,
Is it? Okay.
it's still a thing. I haven't gone in a long time,
Yeah.
but definitely had my days there. I feel
Mhm.
like it's good now for like 23 to 25.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I'm so old, I think it's a supermarket.
Why?
And it could be.
Because it was Acme Supermarket.
Well, that's the
Oh,
thing. It's
wow, you're
anything, it's anything
antiquated.
you want it to be, right? Like it could be a
Right.
supermarket. It could be the smoked fish.
All right.
It could be, isn't there like a Looney Tunes or is that Acme? I don't know.
It could be Acne if you
Yeah,
want it to be. It could be
exactly.
anything you want it to
Exactly.
No, that's a great name.
be.
Thank you. But that's where it came from. Just meeting so many people, not one specific person, but just like a handful of people at Acme
Right.
all the time.
So you said you were in like your prime single stage, just like going with the flow, learning as you go. Like, what kind of dater were you? Like, I know obviously you
Mm.
liked going on dates. Like, you have all these rules, which I really want to get into. Like, what were you like when you were dating and you were single at 27, let's say?
A bit of a savage,
Okay.
if I'm being honest. I think that I had gotten my heart broken a few times early on in my 20s. And so I definitely hardened. And I was like only really dating people that I was more in control of. And that's what confused me so much about the being dumped at 27 because I was like, wait, what? Like,
Like I'm fabulous.
you're obsessed with me. Like we had broken up and like he had begged for me back, you know? And
Yeah.
so I was like, I did not see this coming. And then I was like, maybe I need to like introspect over here.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I know. I feel like we've always talked about this too. Like when I was dating, let's say like my early 20s, it was like
Mhm.
I was so focused on like, did they like me? Did they like me? And now I'm like, do I even like them? I feel like this
Exactly.
shift happens when,
Totally.
you go into like your later 20s, I
And
would say.
also, and I feel like maybe you're in the stage you're coming out of it. I was into like not bad boys, but like
I'm so
when
done with that.
someone didn't like when someone confused me
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't know if they like me. I was so into that. And when someone was like like obsessed with me, I was like, ugh.
That's funny. No, I feel like my old type used to be like guys who seemed like good guys, and then they ended up being the bad guys. They put on this like this front, but that's,
That's
not
the
me anymore.
worst.
I'm going for
Yeah.
just like good people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually saw I was doing a little deep dive where you said, if you feel confused, like they're
Mhm.
not into you. And
Exactly.
it really is so true. There's so many times when I speak to like young people, whatever, they're like, well, he didn't, like, you know what? everyone has time to text.
Right.
Like
My friend
It
told me the
shouldn't
other
be
day, I
so
think she saw
difficult.
it somewhere, and they said, if you have time to take a shit, you have time to answer a text.
Literally. I mean, think about the boys that you're friends with. They're in group chats talking all day.
All day.
It's like, obviously, all of those boys have time to text.
Yeah. Fuck that.
why is it so
Mhm.
comdated?
Well, I know. Back
It's
in,
really
I wish I
not
was dating in like
But
your
it's
age.
not.
It's
That's
really
what's
not.
so good
It's
about
true.
like what I like tell girls and the rules and stuff because it's so simple. It's literally just like if they're not texting you, you have your answer.
Right, but girls could be exhausting and perseverate about it and want it
Ooh,
and want to make it happen.
perseverate. Nice word, Mom.
There you
Mhm.
go.
That was good.
Pulled it out for you. But it is easy.
Yeah.
But it's also not.
I know what you're saying. I think it's not easy when girls try to take the reins because then they don't know if the guy's interested because they're all of a sudden leading.
Yeah. I feel like I used to do it a lot where I would like kind of overcompensate and like maybe like not text all the time, but like I'd be like, screw it. I'm just going to send the text because why not?
Right.
And then it would never work out
So
because
scary, so
yeah,
risky.
because they probably not scare them away, but it was
Yeah.
probably just like I want to make the first move and initiate it.
yeah,
But also men like the hunt.
it's true.
So you kind of
It's true.
got to give it to them whether you want it's kind of a game, but it's not a game.
I
yeah.
want to date in like the 80s where it was like a blind date and like you literally just show up. Like there's no stalking them or anything.
No,
Oh, did
so
you
much
used to
better.
do that before you go on dates? Did you used to
I
do a
actually
majors?
didn't.
I don't do it either.
And it's so interesting because I have so many friends who like did the LinkedIn, did the Google. Like I
also
could've
like
gone
the
out,
photos you're finding on LinkedIn or Google, like it's probably
They're
from,
not
like,
good.
Not good.
but like I could have gone out with a what's it called when sex offender, and I wouldn't have even known because I never did Googling.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is pretty,
scary.
it's
But I think
pretty
it's
scary.
kind of nice them playing the whole geography thing and it gives you something to
Right.
talk
Well,
about.
I never
Yeah.
really went out with someone that I didn't have a mutual friend with, or that I
I had a
and
phase
if
where
I
did.
if I really didn't have any mutuals, then I would look them up.
Right.
But like it wasn't my default at all.
I had a stage where I was like just so done with like Jewish geography and someone knowing about me and I know about them. So I had like a foreign phase. I had
Oh,
just,
yeah, I
like,
had a foreign
random like apps where just guys I had no mutuals with. I mean, it didn't work out. Was it fun to
Oh.
like get to know someone totally new?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but like they were not even near my
Wait, I'm
person.
so dead for the fact that we both had foreign bases. Okay, I did a Swedish guy.
I know a Swedish guy.
Not I did, but you know.
no, I also
went out with
didn't
a
do the Swedish
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Love you, Eric, if you're listening. but-
Swedish guy, Australian guy,
Mhm.
and then like a bunch of British guys. That was just like my
Never slept with any of them.
Mhm.
Just been on a bunch of dates. Swedish guy, an Italian guy, a French guy, and it was all within like a weird like 6 month stage.
Yeah,
Fun phase, not forever.
so fun. Oh,
Yeah.
and I had an Italian guy, and he was the best because he cooked me carbonara.
Oh,
Homemade.
Yum.
why not?
Mhm.
That
Phenomenal.
works.
That's
Phenomenal.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that I'm always very intrigued about that you post about a bunch is your whole concept around how you should feel 90% security and 10% insecurity in a relationship. Why? Like unpack that.
Okay, and I need your mom's opinion on this as well.
Let's hear it.
Mhm.
You and Danny's husband are still married?
Yes.
Okay. So
Danny's husband.
My husband. Yeah.
Danny's father.
33 years.
Hopefully not
33.
Danny's husband.
Disgusting.
That would certainly be an interesting podcast.
Right. Like the show I was watching last night.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
The guy who had 1,000 kids, he was like a sperm donor.
Oh, I've heard
on
about
Netflix.
that.
Yeah, you should
I
watch
need
it.
to watch
Yeah, it's good.
But the 90-10 thing is basically that if you are 100% comfortable in your relationship, it's going to show in every way. Meaning you will get lazy, you will not care about like how you speak to your partner, you will take them for granted, you will not care what like you're doing in front of them, how you look, how you present yourself. You'll like start talking down to them on double dates. Like it's like
Interesting.
like once you feel 100% confident they'll never leave me, your relationship dies.
Interesting.
But if you have that 10% of insecurity, and I wish there was a better word for it.
I
than
was gonna say, I feel like
insecurity.
there's a better word for
It's
it.
kind of bad 'cause I have
10%.
no insecurity.
But
Well,
maybe you've
but
been married for
30-something years
33
later.
years.
Well,
like, is there a timeline
well,
to it?
We'll get to that because I want to talk about that with you. But maybe it's just 10% excitement, right? 10% of like, you know, my husband is really successful or my husband is really smart. And sometimes I am not as smart or just something that you feel like
You're
they
unsure
are
of.
really good at and you're like missing or
Yeah.
like
Right, you
that
look
they
up to them.
they could
something.
get like some girl if they wanted
Could
to.
it
They
be like
could have a
10% of
midlife
like
crisis.
not like jealousy, but like 10% of like
Yeah.
uncertainty and jealousy and like
Yes.
maybe a little anxiety
Mhm.
around maybe that your partner is better at something than you, like you said, or they might cheat on you or leave you or whatever it may
Totally.
be.
And like it's not a thought that should come in every day, but it's just like you should
It's like, am I 10% insecure today?
No.
But it's like you should value your partner so much that you wouldn't want to risk losing them. And if you're 100%, which I truly don't, I know you're saying you are, but I don't believe that you are. Obviously, there's a part of you that doesn't want to lose your husband, that,
Mhm.
you know, really loves them and looks up to them in some way or another, if, as annoying as he might be sometimes.
That's the key word.
Yeah.
That's a big
But like
word.
that is
Play it
what,
nice.
and it's, by the way, it's way more important for them to have the 10% than for you to. You can have 5%.
Oh, you think men have 10%, women have 5?
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Men need to have at least 10% insecurity.
I respect that. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. You have a podcast episode. It's called "Why Men Date Below Their League" and why men date out of their league and women date below theirs. What do you mean by that?
Men have to believe that they are like winning, that they're so lucky to have their wife.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they're not gonna commit and they're not gonna treat her the way that she should be treated. Like they truly, truly have to believe that. Women give more room to other things. Like, oh, well, he's not that handsome, but he's super ambitious.
Yeah, I've
Or-
seen things where it's like, why is that really, really hot girl with a really ugly guy? Because he's treating her well and he's giving her a good
Exactly.
life and
He has
you
a
know,
great
making her
family.
happy, great family, right?
He's really funny. Like he's the funniest guy in the room. He's got the best personality.
Right.
You think a guy is gonna marry a girl because she's the best personality?
Right.
Absolutely not. You know, for them, they more care about looks. It's just what guides them. It's scientific, and so they have to feel like in the looks department they are so lucky, and she is so above them.
Mm.
Whether that's true or not, by the way, they could be delusional about it. She could be really unattractive, but he thinks that she's
right.
more attractive
Uh-huh.
than him.
Did you marry your type?
Not at all. Well, we should talk about the guy I married.
Why?
How long are you married and how did you meet him?
We're married almost 3 years.
Wow.
We kind of knew each other when we were like in college because one of my best friends from college went to high school with him in Armonk, where
Oh,
you're also
yeah.
from.
Oh, I wonder who your best friend is, but we don't have to do names.
We could. I don't care. Her name is Brittany Diamond. Her parents
Okay.
don't live in Armonk anymore,
Okay.
but they're Karen and Harvey.
Okay.
They've been out for a while, and they've.
But I didn't
older
know
kids.
Steven in high school because I was never overlapped with him.
Yeah, you're a baby.
But
a
I
child.
did.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
I was like, you
So-
overlapped with him in high school?
No.
Like, how old is Steven?
But you must have overlapped with Steven's sister, maybe.
Yeah, I was a
Yes.
freshman when she was a senior.
Okay.
She's also a winner. Very nice.
Yeah, she's great, and she was a cheerleader in high school. Were you?
No.
Uh-huh.
Played volleyball.
That's really cool. I love that. But anyway, so we kind of knew each other through that. And then we met when we were 25 at a birthday party. I had a boyfriend, he had a girlfriend. Like we just like met.
Invisible string.
Invisible string.
Mm.
And then when we were 29, we ran into each other on New Year's Eve in Miami. And that's when the rest was history. So
Did you ever think about him from 25 to 29?
not at all.
Okay.
Mostly because I was in a relationship, but also he was not like a potential person to me because our mutual friend who I just mentioned had a crush on him.
Oh, that gets sticky.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? If like your friend has a crush on someone, but they've like never gone on a date, never canoodled, never anything, like do you think it's fair game?
I think you still have to ask them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's fair game. I mean, she was married when we reunite, like
So
ran into
allowed.
Right,
each
so
other.
that
Yeah.
was so.
No
But I
permission-
still
no permission.
asked her though. I still
but
asked
it was
her.
timing also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
That would be
So I-
concerning if she did say,
Can
like,
you imagine?
you shouldn't go out with him.
Yeah, that would be like a little pathetic. though.
Yeah, no, she would need to readjust her marriage. But
So I get married. Fast forward to one day, I'm sitting in Gloss Lab, and now I'm talking about the story about how you and I met.
yes.
I'm sitting in Gloss Lab, and I see this beautiful girl come over, and she's like, "I am Danny. I work with Gloss Lab. Like we've emailed a ton of times. Like I'm the one that has invited you in." And I was like, "Oh my god, hi!" And you and I sit next to each other or something.
I called myself the director of schmoozing when I worked at Gloss Lab.
It's
so That was
amazing.
in true form.
You were
right
so
there.
good at it.
Thank you.
And we start talking, and I think I was like, "Where are you from?" And you were like, "Armonk." And I was like, "No, stop. Like my husband's from Armonk." Like blah blah blah. And
Oh,
Danny's
God.
just like, oh, that's too funny, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking. I'm like, are you dating anyone? And you're like, no, I'm single. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to set you up because that's what I do. When I meet someone that is worthy of being set up,
Which is
I want to
so
set them up.
unbelievable also that you're such a well-wisher because I feel like most girls don't.
Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
totally.
I like that.
Even if I were single, I would still want to set
No, I
Danny
think
up.
that shows the goodness of you.
That's very kind. And so I'm like, I need to set you up, blah, blah, blah.
I blush
And
blushing right now.
I get your number and we go our separate ways. I immediately text Steven, my husband, and I'm like, I just met the cutest girl. I'll tell you about her
Wait,
later.
I'm flattered.
I'm like, I just met the cutest girl. We need to think of who to set her up with. He's like, okay, I don't care. Like, I'm at work. We get home later and I'm like, this girl was so cute. Like, we totally hit it off. And she's actually from Armonk. I was like, I forgot. She's actually from Armonk. And he's like, she is? Like, what's her name? And I'm like, her name's Danny. Is it Cravett?
Cravett,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, I said Danny Kravitz, but I
You're
was like-
fine. Everyone else does
I
that
was
too.
like, her name's
Yeah.
Danny Kravitz. And he was like, wait. And I was like, what? And he was like, we definitely made out. And I was like, what? And then I was dying because I was like, I am just so mad at Danny for not telling me
What? So
when we were in prison.
so facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I've made out with your husband, but
He wasn't her husband.
he wasn't your husband.
Exactly.
And I was just meeting you.
Yeah,
You're like
yeah,
an
yeah.
influential person. It was in
Yeah.
a work setting.
Right,
I couldn't
no.
be like, oh, by the way, I had a make out with your husband at 11 in Miami.
At 2 in the morning.
Right.
It was
I forgot the
It was
11
actually
part. Oh my God.
5 in the morning. And let me tell you the story, actually.
I need to hear.
So I'm standing in 11. I'm with my best friend Lauren, and
Yeah.
I'm about to leave, but she starts like talking to this guy. So I was like, all right, you're good. Like, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I'm about to leave, and I'm standing there like calling an Uber. And this
What
guy
was the
comes.
occasion that you were just at 11?
I think it was like December, like New Year's,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
time of year. And I'm standing there, like literally calling an Uber alone. And this guy comes up to me and goes, hey, man being Steven, goes, hey, can I ask you a question? And I was like, sure. He goes, do you mind? And I also tell like everybody this.
Yeah.
He goes, do you mind telling me the like material of my shirt? And I was like, sure. So I like touch his shirt. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's like a cotton. And he's like, oh, so it's not boyfriend material?
Oh my God.
So then like I'm cracking
so
up because I'm like, that
mortified.
was
but that
so
was great.
I'm like, that was so bad.
So bad.
But he's like, he's a
Cute.
good looking guy. So I was like, all right, like horrible line, great execution. I'll have a conversation. Some friend comes up
Yeah.
like 10 minutes later and is like, did that line actually work on you? I'm like, I'm so embarrassed to say yes. And then we discovered that he was from Armonk. I was from Armonk.
Yeah.
He lied about his age. We realized that the next day because I came
Wait,
home.
how old did he say he was?
I don't know. This was probably like 5 years ago or
Yeah.
something. So what was
It
that?
could have, by the way, it could have been the New Year's that him and I ran into each other because I still had a boyfriend then.
Maybe.
So we just did a run in.
He said he was like-
and
he
then
said he was like
did go to
20
11 after.
Maybe. Yep.
Up.
Yep. That's
Mhm.
our invisible string.
That's our invisible string.
No, he said he was like probably 3 years younger than he actually was. Because I went home the next day and I was like, or that night or morning, and I was like, oh my god, I met like such a cute guy. Whatever.
yeah.
He knows the Frasers from high school, and he
Right.
was like, oh, the Frasers are this age, and I was
Right.
like, oh no,
Right,
he
'cause
said
we
he
knew
was
how
like
old
a few
Scott
years
was.
younger.
I called him out right before this. Let's see if he responded.
Yeah.
He said, I don't think I lied about his age.
Oh.
It's fine. To each their own. Hope you're doing well. But yes, good guy. Have not
So
spoken to him
funny.
since. And I
It's
what was I
so
going to say to you about Gary Nelson? By the way, your husband's adorable. I made out with him at a club.
Right.
No.
No. I like now after I'm like, of course, like you couldn't have said anything. It would have been so weird. But I thought it was so funny. And then Danny and I have a mutual friend, and she was like, you should totally bring it up on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because she
Well,
doesn't
we were
really-
talking about it. We
Yeah.
were like, should I bring up the fact that happened? And I was like, we're like, we'll see how it goes. Like, we'll go with the flow.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. And like, I would do anything to know the list of everyone he's made out with.
So I could not disagree with you more.
Right.
Like,
tell me.
with,
Let's debate
when
this.
I'm seeing a guy,
Mhm.
no. Like, everyone they've gone with, dead to me. Nope. Don't wanna
Even
know.
if you don't have any mutual friends.
Yeah,
I guess you're
don't
less
really-
interested
Like I'm
then.
okay to like talk about it. Like I'm not gonna pretend like someone didn't have a past, but like
Yeah.
I don't need to hear like details. Like that doesn't
What
like
do you
turn me
think?
on.
I think it should be talked about.
Yeah, like, I
but
want-
not keep harping on it.
Do you
kinda
know the
thing.
details of like your husband's exes and things like that?
Yeah, but I had a much crazier. I was much more wild than him. So
She
Yeah.
she married, like she calmed down when she
Yeah,
got married.
yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was very, very busy.
Mm-hmm.
But your
Tell
husband
the story about
wait, is a winner. Like, so how I know about your husband,
Yeah.
because I know his parents
Mhm.
and we're good acquaintances in town, but we don't really hang. Like, they have their crew, I have my crew.
Yeah.
But he was always like the guy in Armonk that was a winner. And his
That's
sister too.
That's so sweet.
Married a
Because
winner.
he was handsome, smart. Like, he really, as a
This
mom,
episode
like,
is now tooting Steven's horn.
yeah, but it really did.
I'm
He
not
like
letting
checked,
him listen.
He checked off all the boxes, and he's a
That's
nice
great.
guy. And
Except
he
he
got,
has really cheesy pickup lines. So.
right.
Yes, we can
But you
look
know
at that
what?
at the time.
He's lucky too, because you seem
That's
wonderful.
very
Yeah.
sweet. But how did you and your husband meet?
We
Mm.
met because, so I always say, and I've said this before, if you're not sure about the guy you're dating, check out his friends.
Right.
So I was actually engaged before my husband, and I went out with a guy for like a year and a half, and then I was engaged to his friend. That didn't work out. Same thing with my husband. My college boyfriend was my husband's neighbor,
and like best friend from growing
my
up.
best friend from
Funny.
growing up.
Yeah.
So
is your ex still in your life because of that?
yeah, well, that's what that was one of my questions for you. Should you be friends with your ex? So yes. And he knows the kid, he knows the kids also. He used to come up, he lives in Florida now. He came up a lot more often. And it was weirder for him than for us, because we just used to like
Hey, you guys are like
tease
married. Like,
him
who
and
cares?
say
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
things. But no, it's not weird at all. But
It's
I don't,
also been like what 20 years now. Like
yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
But I
long
don't
time.
think you could get away with that advice now. Like you can't just date your ex's friends now and like
I
live
agree.
to tell the tale. Like I feel like you
I
could
did it
judge
twice.
so much now. But like there's social media, like
Right,
everyone
yeah.
sees that like
Right.
he's friends with your husband, you know? It's
But
like
also, I wasn't. So the first guy that I went out with, like, I mean, he was a good guy, but he was probably like cheating on me and doing everything he shouldn't be
You
doing.
liked the bad boys
So his-
too until
so,
you met
yeah.
Dad.
So then his friend, was always like, you shouldn't be with him, you shouldn't be with him, and then that's how that happened. And then
mhm.
my college boyfriend, he moved to Florida. He's great, but again, it never would have worked out.
Right.
So it just kind of happened organically, but no hard feelings anywhere.
Yeah.
I agree though. It's you can't like I can't imagine any of my friends dating my exes, nor
No.
would they want to. When I can't imagine dating any of my friends' exes. That just like
No.
wouldn't feel right. One of my good friends, actually, one of her close friends from growing up, is now dating her ex, and it's like they're not friends anymore. It's just like I feel like it's just territory you don't really need to enter.
No. There's so many people out there.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's like truly your true love.
Right. But I agree. Okay, so I'm actually a huge fan of your polls on Instagram. Like I sit down and do them intensely. And I saw your highlight around like how people responded like 50-50 to a lot of them.
Mhm.
So I wanted to know your response to some of the questions. So I
Love.
pulled some of them because I mean you're the expert here. So I want to kind of know what you think on the questions that you ask. Which by the way, do people submit these or
Yes.
do you think of these?
Sometimes it's a combination, but
Because some of them are like
now-
so niche.
now it's more people submit
Yeah.
because I have less time to think of them.
Right.
But it used to be like 100% me.
They're so
then
creative.
like it, got a mix.
Yeah, now you're like their secret answer. Okay. Would you be disappointed if your wife/husband didn't cry at your wedding? Did Steven cry at your wedding?
So he did cry when I was walking down the aisle, but he didn't cry at first look. But
Were you disappointed?
a little bit. But I was like, whatever, like it's so manufactured the first
Yeah.
look. Walking down the aisle is the real
Is the real deal.
thing,
I would like my husband to be hyperventilating.
Bawling.
Yeah. Like actually can't control himself.
Cannot control.
Yeah. Like needs to step aside because he
Fully.
cannot get over how
But
good I look.
would you rather him hyperventilating if you could only choose one at the first look or down the aisle? Like when you're coming down the aisle.
I'd rather him hyperventilate down the aisle.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Did
And
Dad
actually,
cry at your wedding?
I don't think so.
ha,
Yeah.
I don't think
He's
so.
not a crier.
times were
He's not a cri-
different then. There was
Yeah.
less of like elements of surprise. Now it's more like theatrical. You know what
Yeah.
I
Right,
mean?
right.
Well, I was
it's
just-
definitely more intimate. Like, you know what I mean? We
Mhm.
didn't do vows.
Right.
them.
Before it
Oh,
was
that's the
like
best
just like
part.
your parents' friends.
Yeah.
Right.
and-
Well, my
Right,
friends and I
that's
were
what it was
talking
for.
yesterday because now there's like all these like video producers and photographers, like a whole crew. Like I was at
Yeah.
a wedding and there was a drone flying
yeah,
over. and,
always
like,
a drone.
We thought it was a fly. We're like, what the fuck
It's-
is that
no,
up there?
it's
It's a
insane.
drone.
Right.
It's insane.
It's insane.
But everything is so accelerated now. I mean, you got, years ago you got engaged. You got engaged. Now everything, whether it's a promposal, an engagement, I mean,
Yeah.
everything is like,
Dare I say
A
when I
party.
get proposed, I want it to be like just us two. Like
No,
you
I
guys
love
can
that.
come,
wait,
like,
what do you mean?
You can you can
Wait, I
come-
can't pop out of a bush?
No
You-
bushes are involved.
You could be there right after, but I agree. I think
Yeah.
I think just you two.
Like I don't want to call my friend. Also, hot take.
Mm,
I don't want my friends to know what's happening before I do.
I agree.
I want to surprise
Steven
my
didn't
friends
tell
that
any
I'm
of ours.
engaged. I like
Any
that.
of ours.
I
He
like
told
that.
his friends, which like who cares?
Yeah, like the guys, like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can tell the
yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
but like my girlfriends, like I want to tell them that I'm
Mhm.
engaged, not that like because I know the feeling and it was so fun, but like waiting for my friends to get engaged, I'm like sweating in my boots, like waiting for
Right.
it to happen. Like I want to get a call where it's just like, by the way, guys, got engaged.
Exactly. Like it puts you at this like weird disadvantage when your friends know before.
Yeah, I
you
know people
away.
start acting weird towards me.
Right. And they're like,
Yeah.
and then when you call them, they're like, aren't you excited?
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh my God.
Right. I want their surprise.
Right.
And
But
stay
wait,
engaged.
one last thing for
Yeah.
the wedding thing. A family friend of ours said this to me at my wedding, and I'll never forget it. The most important thing at a wedding is not just about like if they cry or not, but when the bride walks down the aisle, everyone looks at the bride. It's just,
I
like, a
look
thing.
at the groom.
You have to look at the groom. And it's like a look that a
Mhm.
groom has. And if
Mhm.
the groom doesn't have that look, the wedding, I swear to God, is not going to work out.
I saw that somewhere. I think it was in like a movie on it, like a
Oh, I
rom
have
com.
not seen it.
Oh,
ever.
I've
It
seen,
was
and
my
I
first time
and I
hearing
look.
it.
I haven't been to a lot of weddings yet, but I always look at the groom
Yeah,
because you could tell like how happy, sad, excited they are.
totally. Like you can go back and forth, like look at the
Yeah,
bride, look at the
yeah.
groom, but you have to take a look at that groom.
I agree.
And there's like a look, and if they have that look, it's like so special.
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm due for a wedding.
But I also say, as far as a wedding goes, there has to be a lot of love, a huge connection.
Mhm.
oh, the wedding is
The vows,
fun
the
if the couple
emotional-
is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's just not.
yeah. It's like a closing dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. It's true. When the energy is not there, I mean,
Right.
you're not kids, but like the young people, when they're friends and
Right,
the couple,
right.
yeah, it's
make
true.
it happen. Otherwise,
True.
it's fine.
Agree.
It's a dinner.
Yeah.
for dinner. If someone can't make you have an orgasm, is it a you thing or a them thing?
It's a you thing. Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I think a woman's responsible for her own orgasm.
I so agree.
And it's like something you have to teach yourself from a young age, whether that's, and I hope this is okay talking about in front of
Yeah,
your mom.
I mean, she doesn't
like
give a shit.
whether that's like masturbating or like figuring out how to like, ride or whatever. But like that's up to you. Like
I agree.
there's like people that I've slept with that have zero credit for me having an orgasm.
Mm.
Zero.
But you could
credit.
also teach them too.
Yes,
Well, I
they
think
should
so,
be
too.
helpful, very helpful if they can be, but they're not always, and so it's more up to you.
But you
Well,
also
I was
have to
laughing
teach.
because you always say even on dates you bring the fun to the party, so you'll just take care
Well,
of
it's also
everything.
it's like right. I agree with you. Where like you have to teach yourself how to have an orgasm, and sometimes you got to tell the guy what you like in order for that to happen.
Exactly, it's also about communication, telling them what to do. But I think it's totally on you.
I agree. What do you think is more important in a fulfilling relationship? A sense of camaraderie based on similarities between the two, or B, a sense of empathy for the differences? Did you unpack that?
Yeah.
You got it?
This one is actually really hard, and it's more of a recent one. I think probably.
I have an answer.
I'm excited to hear it.
Okay.
I think maybe the differences thing.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking the empathy part of it.
No, you didn't
Empathy,
understand.
no,
clearly.
Okay.
No, it's confusing.
No, it's. Would you rather have like a sense of camaraderie based on your similarities, like yay, we have similarities, or B, like I empathize with you even though we have differences?
Oh, okay. A,
No, so we're.
all the same.
Oh, so we
Similar.
disagree with you.
Oh, so why do you think so?
Wait, maybe I'm not. Wait, we have to cut this.
Never. We're saying like we think a more fulfilling relationship is when
you're
you're understanding of each other's differences.
Right, but understand that's good.
You're riding the slope of the small bus.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
on the bus.
Let's hear Lindsay's take.
Let's
We'll
go
get back.
on.
You,
I think
you process.
have to
it's
come back to
important
me.
to understand each other's differences.
Yes.
For example, I come from a yelling household, and Steven comes from a talking softly household. And he understands when I yell because that's where I come from. And
Mm.
I understand when he doesn't know how to yell and is scared of yelling.
Okay.
But that's
So-
a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Or were we a yelling family or like a?
I don't think I was really
You
yelling.
weren't a yeller.
Not like yelling, like get to your room, but
Yeah.
more yelling like, loud.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're
calling
loud.
people,
We're loud.
calling people out. Like
Yeah.
if
Oh, that's
you did
us.
so, like if you took like something from the kitchen that was the fridge that was mine, like I'm not gonna be like, oh well. Like I'm gonna be like, Danny, you took my fucking grapes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that was not okay.
Oh, I couldn't touch the fucking raspberries when I was growing up because my brother needed the
Yeah, they were
raspberries.
Yeah.
contributed.
exactly.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister.
Oh, you're lucky.
Oh, she's like a fitness girlie,
Wait,
right?
why lucky?
Because I always wanted. I mean,
Yeah,
I love
the sister
girlfriends and
thing. Yeah,
stuff. The
yeah,
sister
it's really
thing,
nice.
I always liked
it is really nice. We're
Uh-uh.
very
I never
close.
had it, but I have great girlfriends,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted her
Yeah,
to
you
have
had
it, but
two
she wasn't
brothers.
interested.
I wasn't interested. Like I had a choice.
No, but you say now, like I said to you years ago, I said I really wanted you to have a sister.
Well, we probably wouldn't have a podcast if there was a second one of me, so it's a blessing. When talking to someone new, is there such a thing as responding too quickly or too slowly, or are you just overthinking?
Yes, you can respond too quickly.
Really? I
Yeah.
disagree with you.
Well, if every time they're texting, you're immediately responding, that's like scary.
Totally. But like I'm not someone if I see a text, I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna answer later because I'm answering too quickly.
No. I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is more like you are like waiting for the text and responding every time you get it. It's more just like be a busy person.
Yes.
So like some texts you respond to right away and some like you take longer because you're doing
yes.
shit.
Like the reason I'm not answering right away is because if I saw it, I'm doing shit. I'm not responding because
Exactly.
it's like too quickly.
Exactly.
But I think that also comes with age, a little
Right,
bit. Because I think when
maybe.
you're young, like
you think you have to respond right away.
Well,
to
I feel like
No, I
also-
think people are like, he just texted me, I have to wait. Like he texted me, he waited 3 hours, I have to wait 4 hours.
No, I hate those games.
hate.
But I guess I interpret it as like responding immediately every time. Like you shouldn't do that. You should respond when like it works for you.
Right.
But it should be a combination of like sometimes they have to wait, sometimes you respond because
Agreed.
you have a life.
and not a
Right.
game,
Not a game.
but also just because you have a life. And-
Exactly.
And you want them to like kind of make you a priority and realize that they have to make a plan with you because you
Mhm.
have other things going on.
100%.
Right.
Okay.
I agree. When planning to break up with someone the next time you see them, do you think it's better to A, hint it beforehand, or B, no hint and just do it when you see them?
Oof.
I also have a strong
I think
take
you
on
need
this.
to hint it. So they have the opportunity.
Yeah, I
to
agree. That was
not
my
come
answer.
To the meeting, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly, this is such a hot take. I don't think breakups ever have to be in person. Ever.
Oh.
Mhm.
But don't you think you feel like you need like that closure or to talk about
Closure
it
is a
little,
myth.
or-
I think
You give
closure
yourself
comes in the
closure.
breakup.
Yeah, but it's not for what good is gonna come from some guy taking you to your favorite coffee place and ruining it for you forever?
So I
But
got
wouldn't you
dumped.
think they were a coward if they didn't do it to your face?
I would.
No, not me personally, but I understand why people would.
I agree with you here. I was seeing a guy like last summer for like a few months and it was getting to the point where it's like, is this going somewhere or is this going nowhere? And we were supposed to go to dinner and he texted me being like, do you mind if I just come to your apartment? Like I want to talk to you about something and a restaurant's not conducive. So like obviously I knew I was getting my ass dumped. And at the time it was horrible because all day I was like, fuck. But then thinking about it now when I was reading this question on your poll, actually, I was like, that was actually kind of nice because I would have been upset if like I'm so excited going into it and then
Yeah.
he's like, by the way, like this is done. So I kind of by the time he came over to my apartment, I knew he was ending it. Like I was like I cried already. Like I was like I felt
Right.
prepared for it. Like I was still sad.
Yeah,
But I appreciated that more than him just like going to the restaurant and ending it out of nowhere.
I get that, and
Yeah.
I think it's case by case because
Totally.
I was hooking up with someone and we had never defined things. He was never my actual boyfriend,
Mhm.
and he asked me to go on a walk, and he like ended it, but he wasn't my boyfriend. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
was,
this guy wasn't my boyfriend either. It was like at that
Right.
point where it was
Right.
like, are we gonna be boyfriends or exes?
But I don't know. I really didn't like that because I was
Yeah.
like, "You're not my boyfriend. Like, you don't like take my time.
That
in
is such a
person
hot take.
to break up with me. Like,
Yeah.
we're not. You're not my boyfriend. I was still seeing other people. Like, I thought it was like,
See, I don't
like,
I
presumptuous.
when I see someone, I always say like I don't put all like people say don't put all your eggs in one basket. I put the whole fucking farm. Like I have a hard time. Not that I have a hard time, like I could go on more dates, but like
Yeah.
I like to focus on one person, especially when it's like getting to a point where it's like I really like you. But in the beginning, like
It's also a time
sure, I
factor.
go on a few dates, but like once it gets to the point where I know I like the person, done. I'm not seeing other people.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've tried to do the other way too, where it's like see other people because in case you get dumped, you want to have a backup. But like, I don't know. I have such a hard time doing it.
Right. And I always say to her, keep it moving. Like
Yeah.
just
Oh, I hate it
whatever.
when
But
you
it
say
makes her
that.
crazy.
For me, it's not about in case you get dumped. It's like you need something to compare this person to.
Mm.
You know, like if you start immediately putting all your eggs in their basket, like
Yeah.
you're putting them on a pedestal.
In a way. Yeah.
But
get
after
that.
dating all these years, it's not like she's like 21, 22. She knows.
I
what
mean,
she
the way
wants.
I
Yeah.
date now is beyond different than the way I dated back in the day.
Right.
Also, it was like I met amazing guys back in the day when I was dating, but like I wasn't in the space for anything serious. So like I think I thought I was, but like I was in like my fuck girl stage. Like I don't know what I was doing.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We've all been there. Everyone needs it.
But I think you need to get it out of your system too.
Mhm.
I agree.
You do.
I agree. We're done with that. Do you think people in previously toxic relationships crave stability in the next long-term relationship or find it boring?
Oh,
I was like surprised that this was like a 50-50 response.
Me too. They definitely find it boring.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would
really?
think it's exhausting being in a
But-
toxic relationship.
They find it boring, but they know it's what's best for them. I mean, that wasn't an option, but
Yeah. You didn't give a C option. I don't know. I guess yeah, I was intrigued by this question because like I have been in such very toxic relationships and all I want now is like stability.
But then it goes back to the 90-10 because it's like you don't want 100% stability.
No, I don't want to feel I agree with that.
There's
I don't
somewhere
ever
in
want to
between.
feel 100%. Like I always and a part of me will always have that like 10% or 5% anxiety of like, is this person gonna leave me? But I think that also stems from like my past experiences too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not stemming from like it is stemming from like they're so amazing, I don't want them to leave, but it's also stemming from like I'm used to people leaving. How
Right.
sad is that to say? Oh my
That's so
God.
sad.
That's okay.
You gotta push that in the past.
No, we're done. We're done. But just facts. So I think right. I agree with you. But yeah, sad.
I'm excited to see who you're gonna end up with.
You and me both, sister.
Me too.
Do you think men, who do you think thinks about the best sex of their life more? Sorry, men or women?
Women, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You think men just want it?
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like-
think. I don't know. Wolf,
Hello?
do you think that men think about the best sex of their life more, or women do?
Probably women because they don't get it often.
Hey, what?
Wait, but what women?
Sex of their life.
Yeah, I feel
You're
like-
having the best sex of your life often?
I think for men, their experience in sex is a lot more. They're consistently finding what they want a lot more than women are.
It goes back to us teaching us ourselves how to have an orgasm.
Yeah, like
Men have an
guys, they-
orgasm way easier.
They get it off. I think guys are a lot more
Right.
like lowbrow. Like they come into the situation, have sex, like that was great. But hers, like, was it great for her though? It might not. Have
Right,
Yeah,
right,
right.
because it's more rare that she has had really great
been. That's what I mean.
sexual.
Right.
So when she
experiences.
finds a guy and it like really rocks her
then
world,
she thinks about him forever.
Right.
That's
For sure.
facts.
Men could
That's
get off
facts.
on anything.
Men
That's
could
true. They
think
can get off
every
on, like, a
time they have
pie.
sex is like the best time ever. Like,
Right.
That's true.
Okay.
thank
Any
you.
questions?
No, you could go.
Okay.
More.
Um,
Wait, I have a question.
okay.
What is your rule on who should say "I love you" first when you're in a
Men,
relationship?
100% the
Okay.
man. Yeah. I mean, will it fail if the woman says it? No, not necessarily, but it's way better if the man says it.
And there's
first.
no right time. Like,
I would
No
say,
right
like,
time, but
in,
there's the
in
wrong
between
time.
like 3 and 5 months.
okay.
I think after that, I'm like, what's up?
Yeah.
here?"
It's
You
like,
know?
do you
You
love
know,
me?
you know, if
Yeah.
you love them.
Yeah. If a guy says he just isn't romantic, does it mean he doesn't like you?
Yeah.
Wait, I need to think about this one that I just asked. If a guy says he isn't romantic, yeah, I agree. I think every guy they might not say they're romantic because that's just I think a word that guys don't really use.
Yeah.
But if a guy really likes you, they'll pull strings.
Well, because think about it. Like, what's the context here? The girl's like, will you just like get me flowers one time? And the guy's like, well, I'm just not romantic.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
true.
he's basically being like, no.
Right.
Like, if a guy likes you, he's gonna do what you asked him to do. And
True.
he'll like find the romance that
Right.
you want him. And like, you'll make it really easy for him.
Right, because he might not just know
Right.
what to do, but if you
Right.
obviously say like, "Oh, I love flowers," like flowers would be nice.
Totally.
Yeah, I like white flowers, by the way, whoever's listening.
White orchids.
Wait, that's what you like. I'm good with any white flower. This is so random. And this was funny that it was like a 50-50 response. And we have an answer too. Did you grow up in a fart proud family
Oh.
or a fart shame family?
Fart proud family. And I think,
think
that
we were
this
fart
is
proud.
Yeah, we were fart
so
proud.
important.
Could you
to who
imagine
you
not
are.
being a fart proud family?
A lot of women, especially,
Okay.
grew up in fart shame families or like fart silent families or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Silent
those are
but
the women
deadlies?
that will not fart in front of their husbands today.
No, we even talk about poop too much. Like we're the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we're
TMI.
very open about our bowel movements in the Crevette households. Could probably cool it. But
Yeah.
we weren't like, oh, good fart. Like we were like,
No.
Mom, or like,
Yeah, you're like,
Danielle.
ew, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
No,
You're
like
not,
in the
but you're
car.
not shaming them. You're not like, don't you ever do that again.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Wait, you can't shame for body movement.
No.
But it's crazy, like in the car. I remember when my kids were little,
Yeah.
like we actually know who farted. Even
yeah,
if
of
they
course.
denied it.
Of course. You know which, like, you know the smell of everyone's
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has their own brand.
Yeah.
On that note, thank God we're not eating right now. So I wanted to get into your rules because I feel like I disagree with a lot of them,
Okay.
dare I say.
Mhm.
So I wanted to know first, kind of what are they based off of? Like, where was this just from you learning as you were dating in your late 20s? Like, where did these come from? And just tell me about them a little bit
Or
more.
was it from that book? I remember these ladies.
So it started from the book. I read the book very young, and I actually had them on my podcast to like debate some of the rules.
What's the
Are they
book?
like grown
it's called
women
The
now?
Rules?
Oh,
Yeah. Are they what? Sorry.
The grown,
Yeah. They're grown women. So there was a book called The Rules, and then I read it, and I was like, some of these are great, and
Mhm.
some of these are crazy. I'm gonna take what I like and leave the rest, which is
Mm.
what I think people should do with anything.
mhm.
Did you use them
Um,
for Steven?
I loosely did. I
Mhm.
broke one rule with him, but everything else.
What, you
I
slept with
used.
him on the first date?
No, never. That's the one rule you cannot break, unless you don't care about that.
Right.
But
I agree with you, actually.
I texted him after our first date. And one
Oh.
of the rules is like never initiate texts. But I texted him after our first date because he was like not like our conversation had died and he was like not reviving it. And I was like,
You're like, why are you letting this die? We
like,
had a great
I knew
time.
he was like obsessed with me. It was very because he had like made multiple comments. You know, I just like I was confident. It came from a
Yeah.
place of confidence, not insecurity.
Yeah.
That I texted him.
Okay.
Well, then
That's a big
it.
difference.
Yep,
Huge,
took the words out of my
huge.
mouth.
Yeah. So it was a mix of things that I did that worked and didn't work in
Mhm.
that book.
So maybe you need to revise them now because I'm sure the book is probably from maybe the 90s or
I
something?
have. I have
okay.
an episode on it and like a highlight on Instagram with the like revised rules.
Well, maybe you need
My
to do a
rules.
book, like a
Oh my God, we met an
I
acting
should.
book.
I've been like talking about it for years, but I should probably do it.
Well, it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
now you're a
for
mom.
the next generation.
Yeah. No, I should.
Um,
I should.
One of the rules that I read that you write is don't send a thank you text.
Mm.
And I totally understand your point, and I probably always gave my kids more Danny, bad advice.
Like, are you giving Jordan dating advice?
I gave him dating advice. Now let's talk about him. But in college, when he slept with girls,
Is he older or younger?
yeah, he's
Older,
30.
his 30.
Is he in a relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, now he is.
Okay.
But you were saying also when he went to college, you were saying, oh, he's probably gonna kill us for saying this, but he doesn't even listen to this, so screw you.
Yeah.
But he like went to college in the South, so my mom was like, if you're gonna sleep with a girl with two names, you wear two condoms.
I'm dying. That's
That-
amazing.
That was my advice.
Yeah.
That's
But as
so
far
funny.
as texting after Jay, because I think it's nice to be gracious and whatever, but I totally do understand and respect your point because then it kind of, you know, if they like you, they're gonna text you.
Yeah.
But I think a
Yeah.
girl also, when she says thank you, she wants then that instant gratification of saying
Exactly.
It was
she's
great.
simply texting it to be gracious, then that's
Right.
fine.
I used to go, like years ago, I used to go back and forth on this one a lot. I was like, I want to text them because I want to be grateful, but then I remember you used to say, like, you don't want to disrupt if they actually want to reach out to you again.
Mhm.
And I'm so on the same page as you now. Like,
Yeah.
I think after the first few dates, like 1 to 4, I would say, or 1 to 3, like, I would let them text me immediately after.
Right,
but
right.
once you're at a point where like you're very comfortable and you're in a
Right,
flow with
then
things, like
it's
then
fine.
it's all hell
Exactly.
breaks loose with me. But I totally like literally, but I totally agree that like I don't wanna, and you used to always say, text them thank you again. And I'm like, I said thank you on the date.
Yep.
And if I didn't,
Mhm.
like shame on me, that's so rude. But
Mhm.
I agree, 100%.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
What do you disagree with?
I disagree with, okay, you're probably gonna disagree with this too. Not disagree, I just need a better definition of it. Buying gifts before you're official.
No.
Does that include like
Oh.
food? Like cookies?
No, no, no.
So
Kind of.
so I know we're not talking about your dating life, but you
Yeah.
are dating.
Yeah.
And I'm just like a nice person. So I liked whatever. So I bought you a little gift, you know, to come
She's
on our
making-
pod.
And you're so
Okay, we buy you
sweet.
gifts.
And I think I was gonna buy more gifts. And she's like, Ma, no, you gotta stop with
Well,
the
so
gifts.
no,
It's
like we could
food."
say I've like been seeing someone and I like all the love languages. Like I like receiving gifts, touching everything. I like to give gifts too. So like if I'm at like a yummy bakery, let's say for example, and there's like a sick ass cookie, like I want him to try it. So like I would bring it over. Is that like a gift?
Yeah.
Oh, so is that bad?
It's a girlfriend privilege.
Okay.
That's interesting when you
Okay.
frame it as like a privilege.
It is a privilege.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. No gifts.
Fuck.
And guys are so quick to be like, dude, she's obsessed with me. Like,
so true.
So, like, it's
He's
so-
laughing.
And
over
at what
there.
He
phase
knows I'm
do you
right.
think somebody should become boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah.
But, like, ideally around 2 months, before 3 months,
Hmm.
or around 3.
I don't know what my thoughts were here, but like, and I agree with you, but don't send unsolicited dick pics. Like, did you used to get a lot of unsolicited dick pics that this is like a rule?
You'd be surprised that guys like really need this spelled out for them. But
I've never gotten
That
an
sounds like an
unsolicited.
ew.
Also,
That
like,
would be an ick.
for the guys listening, like, I'm sorry, dicks aren't hot.
not hot.
Not hot.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Like send a cute dog. That's
yeah,
cute.
that will turn me on.
I think actually no unsolicited pics at all.
Right. Well, if you're a girl sending a random nude too, like,
That's actually fine.
okay.
You're like blessing them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But,
I'd
like,
be nervous
if a-
if they're a jerk and then the picture just flies all over the place.
Then you shouldn't be dating them.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's not worth taking that chance because you never really know.
My ex-boyfriend, when we broke up, threatened to send
All right. I remember.
some pictures of me to my boss. And honestly, it
At
was
your
like
first job.
honestly, it was so scary, but it was like my boss. It was like we were like pretty chill at the time. I'm like, you know what? Send it to her. I'm sure she'll enjoy it.
Why did he do that?
He was really toxic, really
Did
unhealthy.
you like get the law involved?
We almost got the law involved, like a restraining order, but I ended up talking to a girlfriend who had like a very similar situation with an ex-boyfriend, and she was like, I honestly regret getting a restraining order
Right.
because
right,
it just caused more of a headache.
right.
And I was at a point where I was like so drained and so exhausted
Yeah.
that I just like it was just so toxic, and I just
Mhm.
wanted to be done. So once it finally ended, like really ended like a year after we broke up, let's say, I was so done with it. I didn't want
Yeah.
to get the law involved, but
Mhm.
we definitely debated it.
yeah.
Yeah.
He had to meet somebody else.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
It might
yeah.
have been longer than
I had a similar
Mhm.
situation, but I got the law involved.
You did. You got a
Yeah.
restraining order.
I got it. No, I did a cease and desist. I got a
Okay.
Cease and desist sent to his
And
parents' house where he was living.
did that like work?
Yeah.
Okay.
It did,
Okay.
which was great.
Noted for the future, but like
Yeah,
better
yeah.
not be in that fucking situation again because that was
No, no, no.
absolutely
Yeah, I don't
God
think we'd
forbid.
last like 2 dates and
God forbid.
someone tops.
Yeah.
Toxic. I always say like all her dates, and it's I don't think you would take anything back. It was all part of life.
Mhm.
I got her where she is today.
Yeah,
or
Well, I
where-
do always
100%.
wonder.
No regrets.
No, I do always wonder what I would have been like in college if I was single. I had relationships all throughout
Yeah,
college.
you kind of miss
Mm.
that whole thing because that
Well,
would
I
have
don't
been
want to
really
use the
fun.
word miss
Miss?
because it sounds like it's like a negative. Like I had a shit ton of fun in college. Like don't get me wrong, but I'm sure I would have had a different. I probably just would have had sex more in college. to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
Like, I would have
Right,
hooked up with more people.
But also,
Where were you in school?
Syracuse.
Better that you're in a relationship.
Yeah. Like I
It's
would
really
have had
lonely.
would have had
and
it.
cold.
Yeah, freezing. But also like we were saying before, like everyone has their like fuck around stage, and
Yeah,
mine
yeah,
was just
yeah.
like right when I was single for the first time
after college.
after college.
Which is
yeah,
a great time.
yeah, it's fine. Still, I mean, at that point, I thought I was old, but like now thinking back on it, it's like you're still so young.
Yeah. No.
But what also was hard, you had a long distance relationship in college.
Right.
So that makes it hard.
Right.
It's different if you have somebody in college, it's fun to go
Right,
out with them
right.
and stuff. But you,
Yeah, but he was also not a good dude, so it was just like
yeah.
Where was he in school?
I had two boyfriends in college. One, they both went to Syracuse, but one I was my age, and then my next one from
Like,
Syracuse
had
was graduated already.
Okay.
But I didn't know
Yeah.
him in college. I met him like in the summer.
Yeah.
In the summer.
Because if you met him in college, you probably never would have gone out with him.
God no.
Right. So it's all relative. Okay.
Literally no. Okay, go.
No, go.
Oh. Ordering for her. Don't order for her. What are your
Correct.
thoughts on that?
Yeah. Don't.
But I need more context here. Like, let's say we're at dinner, we're dating, and we discuss like we're gonna share shit. We're gonna share something out.
Oh,
whatever.
then it's fine.
then okay.
I mean,
that's
like,
what I
she'll have the beef.
Oh,
You know, like
that is
before
so
communicating.
antiquated. Do
Yeah.
guys used to do that on dates for you? Like order for you?
No, I don't think so. No.
Like I'm fine with like we're sharing, he takes control and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
order, but I've never had a situation where they're like, she'll get the
it
fish.
also depends on the personality. Some girls are probably wallflower. I don't know. So then
Yeah.
the guy
If
takes
you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know what
yeah.
you want to eat
I
at
don't
a
think anyone here is an I don't
Right,
know
right,
kind of
right,
girl.
right, right.
if you can't make a decision of what you want to order,
Yeah, but there are people like that.
I guess.
There
I don't
are.
really know.
And then also some girls are not going to eat a burger on a date because, you know, they don't want to.
I remember that when I was first going on dinner dates, I was like, what should I eat and what should I, a salad? No. You can't eat a salad on the first date, I don't think.
No, you have to eat whatever you actually want. That's
That's
the,
a good
that's the
perspective
truth.
on it.
That's the truth because
Yeah.
it will show if you're like trying to be
Not even like
Something.
skinny. I'm not saying that. It's more
not
just
skinny,
like food and
just
teeth.
trying to be like perfect for the date. Like that comes across, and the guy's like, she's trying too hard.
Well, actually, the college boyfriend that we were talking about said what he really liked about you early on is you went on a date and he had 2 slices of pizza and you had 1 and you ate a second slice. And I guess most girls wouldn't do
What
that.
are you talking about?
I just thought about it.
That's
I
hilarious.
did not know that.
yeah. Well,
First college boyfriend or second college boyfriend?
second, I didn't really speak to the first college boyfriend.
I
so
wish I didn't either.
It would be all the second college boyfriend.
Wow.
I love that.
You were always yourself.
That I had 2 slices
Right.
of pizza?
Well, but some girls just try to fit a mold.
Yeah,
and-
yeah,
and
yeah.
eat
True.
what
It's
somebody
true.
else wants.
And then they're starving.
right, right. No,
No.
you don't starve.
No.
Mm-mm.
No
That's not
starving
us.
here.
Mm-mm.
What are your thoughts on dinner dates for first dates?
Only if you have a mutual friend.
Oh, that's an interesting take.
It's like
I haven't gone a lot of like dinner dates as first
I wouldn't do
ones.
it
Yeah.
at all. But like if you have to do it, you have to have a mutual friend.
Well, this brings me to my next point. You're sober.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't drink anymore either.
Good for you.
And she stopped drinking when she had kids, right? No.
No, little like late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I
you
just
stopped
start-
drinking before you had kids.
Yeah.
But wasn't that a story when dad told us a story that you had the toilet like child-proofed and you came home wasted and you
Oh,
threw up on the toilet?
Yeah, maybe I'm lying.
Yeah.
I have no memory. Yeah, so around
really
early
funny.
30s.
Probably
then.
before I was born.
Right.
But
But for no other reason than, I mean, I just think I drank so much. just,
Yeah.
you know,
you drank yourself dry.
yeah, right. I started young. I have 2 older brothers. I started partying, doing drugs. I was like 13. So like
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Queens, Hollis Hills,
Mm-hmm.
and then my family moved to Long Island
Yeah.
when I was in college. So it was just growing. I mean, I was like hitchhiking. I was doing
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
you shouldn't
yeah.
be doing.
Totally.
But I was having fun, and I wouldn't.
Weren't you like
change
selling
anything.
drugs too?
No, that was my brothers.
Oh.
But
Well,
like,
drugs.
but
1 plus
Everyone
1
sold
equals 2.
drugs.
Right, but it-
Everyone sells drugs in college.
right. but
I've
if
actually
I-
never sold a drug.
No, my brothers were in high school.
Probably didn't have to because Syracuse has them like everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right.
It's
But
so
I
true.
wouldn't take it back because if I grew up, say, where my parents moved when I was young, I'd probably be a monster and I couldn't live with myself.
Right, right.
Like I had a very chill upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was dating like for you sober?
I didn't do that much of it because I got sober in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2018. And I was in a relationship at the
Okay.
time. And he was the person that I was still dating when I ran into Steven on the
Okay.
night that then you
Shared
ended the night with Steven.
shared a kiss. Just shared a kiss.
No, I know.
A
I know.
nice
Just kidding.
goodbye peck.
And then there was only a few months in between when that guy and I broke up and when Steven and I started dating.
Got it.
In those few months, I dated sober,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't that many people.
Well, because first
Um,
dates are usually drinks, so it's
Yeah, but
it was interesting for me to navigate too.
right. But I was always very open about it
Yeah.
and not insecure about it, which is really hard because
Mhm.
guys can like pressure you and be like, come on, like just have some tequila shots with me, you know? But like if you're like, no, I'm more fun with a Diet Coke.
Well, it's funny
You know?
because I've had a different experience where when I've gotten to a date and it's at a bar and I say like, by the way, I don't drink, it's just really a lifestyle choice for me. The guy's reaction, they're like, ugh, honestly, like I'm still not even in the mood to drink. And then they don't end up drinking with me. Like I've also had guys who have drank on dates too, and it's so fine. It's all about how you present yourself in the
Exactly,
situation.
And I'm so happy that you said that because
Yeah.
that was Steven's exact reaction when I said to him, he's like, thank God, I'm so done like drinking
Yeah,
on dates.
At the end of the day,
And
it's like a
that's why
Tuesday.
I stopped drinking because I used to just drink. So your bar was Acme,
Mhm.
mine was Wilson's, just to
Mhm.
deal with the night and the crowd and the people.
Right.
I used to get wasted. And then you feel like shit the next day. So I think
Mhm.
just after a while, I didn't need it. I don't, I'm a pretty up person and a positive
Yeah.
person, but just to get through the crowds and the people and whatever. But
Yeah.
you kind of like outgrow it after
It's
a while.
more of a relief than people realize to tell someone that you don't.
I also feel like this day and age too, it's like, I don't want to say it's like trending because I literally hate that word, but
No,
like
it is.
it's more quote unquote acceptable.
So much
to
more acceptable.
it's not as much of like a shock factor. Like, oh, you're not drinking. Like
yeah, I don't think that happens
when I first,
anymore.
it was like, it's been like around a year for me when I first stopped, like people are still like random like guys that I know just through like social circle. If I'm out, they're like, oh, like still not drinking. And it's like, yeah, like no. And also
Yeah.
I sip here and there. Like I
Mhm.
wouldn't call myself sober, but it's so interesting seeing people's reactions when I'm dating. It's like either they're gonna be so shocked, so relieved, not drink. Like
You've also had people though, like on the apps that you said that, and they
didn't respond.
Yeah.
But that's on them. Who
Never-
the
Yeah,
hell-
that's
Yeah,
telling.
that's
like-
Then you're
yeah.
like,
Like,
great,
like,
I don't have to
next.
go out.
if you need to be with someone
Yeah.
who's drinking, like
yeah, that's
by all means, I'm
not
not your
normal.
person
Mhm.
at all.
I
At
agree.
all.
not
Do you have any
normal.
questions for her?
No, I'm good.
Okay, now I'm gonna wrap it up. Always like to end with just a piece of advice, and since you are like the New York City dating guru expert for life, what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received that you can, share to people who are navigating dating in this very, very, very hectic, sweaty city?
Navigating dating, I do always go back to the if you're confused or not interested, but
Mm.
I'll try to think of another one since we kind of talked about that already.
But I love that one.
It is
It's really a good one.
very concise.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would say like you don't have to settle. You can find something in between like that crazy toxic
Mhm.
and that like really boring 100% security.
I like that.
No.
Right.
I don't
But
know.
you're in a great stage. Like every stage, I always say every stage is a great stage, but you're in a really fun
Yeah, are
stage
you
of your
liking
life.
this mommy
Loving
stage?
it. Oh my God. With like a newborn is like so cute.
Are you
It
tired?
is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really tired.
You look good though.
Thank you.
You look great.
Thank you.
On that note, we'll let you go take a nap. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe, like, comment, all those fun things, and we'll see you next time.
Yay. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.